Park. Stronglow Forest Park is primarily an outdoor recreation, equestrian, cycling, running, a facility around Mount Stronglow. What we're looking at is an association to that in the urban areas, having facilities that are supported from an indoor recreation, rock climbing, gymnasiums, those sort of activities that can be easily accessed off the north-south arterial, are near the entrance to the outdoor recreation. So the indoor recreation precinct is next to the outdoor recreation entry. So in terms of facilities, in terms of amenity, you've got Stronglow Forest Park, major international recreation opportunity here. In terms of open space amenity, you've got the Arboretum, another international facility off to the east. Strong off-road connections between the two, and a river corridor between the two. I mean, it's got fantastic amenity, and the services are going with the population.
I think that lady's touched on medical facilities, which Bob Sullivan's also touched on as well. But as a community, the feedback I'm getting as chair is that we don't want to bear the brunt of a new development. Schooling, for instance, I'd like to see a new school there fairly quickly because we've just lost Weston Primary School. That's not your decision, I understand that. I'm not pointing the finger at you, but Duffy will probably be full to the rafters. It's hard to get into a GP as it is, and now those people will be feeding off our facilities, and then parking at our Western Creek shopping centre is going to be affected as well. There's going to be a lot of effects apart from traffic. I think Eddie's got some things.
Yeah, just to also throw in one other thing is that we are quite aware that there's a shortage of indoor recreation in the Western Creek area. We have been pushing that as hard as we can without being rude to the ministers. That is ultimately, a lot of that ultimately is a political problem. There is an election coming up. Just bear that in mind. Thank you.
There's some people that have indicated they wish to talk.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Deeks Forest Park. I guess I obviously missed the consultation process at which Deeks Forest Park got suddenly moved across the other side of Uriara Road and became a cycling facility. Can anyone here tell me what that consultation process was? Because as far as I'm concerned, Deeks Forest Park is a much loved recreation area for this side of town. I think if any other part of Canberra had such a large chunk of open space taken away from them in this way, they would be horrified.
Stronglow Forest Park wasn't. It was a program that was run through another part of government post 2003 bushfires. But you will recall that, and this is in great. If you go back and diagram, please, Bruce. Keep going up. The one that shows all that type. You recall that originally Deeks Forest Park, Deeks Drive originally was around here.
No, the next one across. Next one across.
That's where it was pre-fire, but before that it was here. Some of us have been around for a long time. It was through here, and then it was moved, and the facilities that were here were relocated to here. And now, through the consultation process, which was run in the shaping of our territory, and I understand that Rob Bigstone has been part of the consultation process and the design for that facility. My understanding is that facility is here. In terms of what was provided was treed running facilities. This is a mountain now that's geared for treed running facilities as well as cycling, as well as equestrian. In terms of facilities for runners and cycling and mountain biking and equestrian, this is a major facility that supports those activities.
If you're a teenager.
you take
But
your
it's
dog?
publicly accessible to the owners as well.
Can you
So
take your dog to the running track?
I suppose that I'm hearing things from the audience. The questions to the effect that are these Stronglow Park, is that for heavy mountain bike riding? Is it for horse riding? Are you saying that you're not getting enough walking tracks?
Yep.
Just general cycling at a general normal pace, walking dogs, families?
Where the trees are growing now.
Right. So is that, I know there's a lot of you, I heard a lot of muttering then, and is that anything like your thinking, or?
Yes.
Right, okay. Do we have any questions about that? What we're going to have to do is wrap up the question and answer section very quickly. A couple more questions. You can then put questions through to us. You can also send things directly through to ACPA or ministers in questions, of course. But what we're going to do is let them pack up, and then we're just going to have a meeting about where you think we're at now and what you as the residents would like to do from here on. One of the questions I just had, Paul, was when does the land sale process begin?
Thanks, Tim. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who may or may not be in this room, but certainly outside of the room, who are interested in that question in the Western Creek area. The process, just so to give you an idea, the process would be that the government would have a final variation to consider later this year. That's a final territory plan variation. It can only be enacted through the Assembly subject to an amendment to the National Capital Plan, which is going through concurrently as well. So they're both going through the respective statutory processes. Let's say, assuming that all goes according to program and Hoyles, perhaps later this year in October, November, there could be the land use policy could be in place, in which case the Land Development Agency, who is the government's agency responsible for the release of land to the market, would look at its timing for release of land. It may wish, up to what its program is, make a release of a parcel of land of multiple blocks prior to Christmas. I suspect that might be a bit tight. It's probably looking at early in the new year.
Sure. Now, what we have for you now is a brief audio-visual presentation that Philip Lemon from the Baha'i communities brought to us this evening, and it's showing the gardens at Haifa. What I might do is actually pass the microphone to Philip. I don't know if he's got any comments he'd like to.
Haifa's in Israel. This is in Israel. And we just give an example what Baha'is do on their property and that. If you can visualize it on top of that hill instead of them 15 houses, I think this is much better use of land.